Hi everybody, welcome back to Raw Inspired Living. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kelly and I'm so grateful to have you here. So today I wanted to jump in and share something a little more personal. Not as an expert talking at you, but as a woman who has spent nearly a decade trying to understand what was happening in her own body. So when I was around 49, things started to change in ways that I just didn't recognize. I was eating well, I was active, I was doing what I thought were all the right things, and yet I was gaining weight, especially around my middle, and I had never had weight around my middle in my entire life. My joints felt creaky, my digestion felt off, like I had bloating, my energy was unpredictable, and my body just didn't feel like it was responding anymore, especially the way that it did before I went into menopause. So I saw doctors, I saw naturopaths, I saw dietitians, and I tried many different approaches. And to be honest, they all helped in some small way, which I'm so grateful for because they progressed my health forward, and I do know that. But what I kept hearing as an underlying theme were versions of, it's just menopause, you're getting older, you just need to eat less and exercise more. Oh, and by the way, if you really want to lose weight, you're going to have to start eating meat again. And I just thought, I'm not doing that. I couldn't do that. As someone who's a vegan for, not only health reasons, but animal reasons and, planetary reasons, I just wasn't going to do that. I thought there has to be another way. So I really did struggle to find a plant-based practitioner who not only understood menopause and what was happening to my body from a scientific or an academic perspective, but someone who had experiential, experience in it, someone who had actually been through it herself. And that was really what I was looking for. And I really did struggle to find that. Most of them were paleo and, or some form of it, and it just didn't work for me. So I decided to research it in depth for myself and work it out for myself. I had studied anatomy and physiology early in my career when I did kinesiology, so I knew that with a bit of time I could find my own answers and remain plant-based because that was what was important to me. So what I discovered through my research is that it wasn't so much the questions that I was being asked, it was the questions that I wasn't being asked that were critical, and they really mattered, and they could have provided key pieces of information towards the solution. So no one asked me things like, what has your stress load been like over the last 10 to 20 years? How stable is your blood sugar? How often do you rely on cortisol just to get you through the day? I mean, I don't know. What does that even mean? How much muscle have you lost without realizing it? How is your body managing glucose now that your estrogen is lower? I mean, I didn't even know what that meant, but nobody asked me anyway. And nobody really explained to me how insulin, cortisol, the liver, muscle and menopause all interact, and it's really important how they interact. So in essence, because those questions weren't asked of me and no practitioners really explained to me in a detailed way what was really happening with my body, I was left thinking, is my body broken? Is there something seriously wrong with me? And how can that possibly be when I have lived a pretty low tox life and healthy life to this point? So I was quite, frustrated by it all, to be honest, at different points. Now, though, I know the truth. And the truth is that my body wasn't broken at all, right? My body was adapting. My body was protecting me, and it was responding very intelligently, like it can, to years, right? Just years of stress, hormonal change, metabolic load without the support that it used to have. So things didn't work the same after menopause that they did before. So what I've come to understand through my research is this. After menopause, estrogen no longer supports insulin sensitivity, muscle and stress buffering. And that's important because that means that the body has to work harder, right? Cortisol is used more often and the liver releases glucose more frequently. And fat storage, especially around the belly, it's actually protective, not cosmetic, right? And none of this is about willpower. It's actually about physiology. And I'm so grateful that I did my own research because that's what I found out. And now I truly understand what was happening in my body and also how to correct it. So that's why I'm designing the 21-day Metabolic Longevity Reset. It's not a diet. It's not a detox. And it's not another thing for you to push through, because your body doesn't need any more stress when you're in this, midlife. It's the last thing that your body needs. So the reset is basically here as a way to stabilize your blood sugar, restore insulin sensitivity, reduce cortisol demand, and support muscle and joints, right? So that your body can naturally reduce inflammation and release belly fat. So as I've started doing this reset myself, which I always test everything on myself first, something super interesting has happened. So my joints feel less creaky, and that was something that really worried me as I was going on in age. My body feels more fluid. I'm more flexible when I'm stretching and I'm exercising. My cravings are quieter. My digestion just feels calmer. There's less bloating. My weight is changing easily and softly. There's no pressure. And it's not because I'm forcing anything. It's because my system is finally supported in the way it needs now, not the way it needed in my 30s and 40s. So honestly, I know there are so many women like me, women who've done the work. They've eaten well, they've lived consciously, they've done all the right things, and they're still confused by what's happening in their bodies, just like I was. So this reset exists because I don't believe women should be left guessing or blaming themselves or being told, oh, well, this is just how it is as you get older. That's just not a thing, right? And I am so passionate about helping women understand why their body is responding the way it is and how to work with it, not against it. This really is about metabolic safety, longevity, and trust. And I'll be sharing more as I continue this journey, openly, honestly, transparently, and grounded in both lived experience, which is what I'm doing, and the science and physiology. So if this resonates with you, stay with me, because honestly, this conversation is just beginning, and I hope that it's helped you in some way. And I look forward to seeing you again in Raw Inspired Living. Have a great day.